This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
So needless to say, I'm odds and ends. But I'll be stumbling away, slowly learning that life is okay. Say after me, it's no better to be safe than sorry. At the Maastricht edition. Scene.
Oh, I say!
What in the world was that? Hey, everybody, welcome to the Maastricht edition.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Maastricht edition. Lovely to have you here. Hello. Jason.
I'm trying to keep it fresh here, and I think. What? Pardon, Matt?
You have the part.
I have the part. I thought you named the band for a minute. I was about to be very, very astounded.
No, but I missed something.
Oh, that's okay.
Is it a song?
Is it a song? Yeah, it's a song anyway. But we're not going to name that tune because maybe somebody out there knows actually what we're talking about because we don't. Anyway, hi.
No, we never know what we're talking about. But I do know something. We're missing a limb this week. We were missing a limb last week because we didn't have Matt with us last week, and we've got Matt with us this week.
It's one in one.
Now it is shake it all about.
Poochy.
This week we don't have Tracey with us.
No,
so Tracey, yes, she is. She's eating Black Forest Gatto, I believe.
A Black Forest cat.
That as well. Yes.
Okay. I assumed you were speaking Spanish there for a second.
Oh, God, now you've confused me.
No, I'm all confused. Anyway, hi. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. We're confused. I'm your temporary bogus Tracey this week. Welcome.
Oh, yeah.
I will do my best to look the part.
Just promise me one thing. Do not attempt an Irish accent.
I barely speak English. I think you're safe there. It's okay.
No argument from me there. But anyway, here we are at the Maastricht edition. We may be without our Tracey, but she will be back with us next week. But we've got Matt back, so it's lovely to have Matt back. You were missed last week.
Hello, Matt back.
And over his right shoulder there is a clue as to what we might be talking about this week as far as our theme is concerned. Because, of course, every week we have a theme. So, well, not quite, but there's some weird stuff going on this evening, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We do have a special guest this evening.
We do.
With a fabulous name as well, Dixon Block. Always sounds like an A-list Hollywood superstar. He probably is an A-list Hollywood superstar.
That is nobility in that name. That's how I see it. That's pure nobility. Really, something very regal about it. I'm excited to talk to him so he can tell us what it's all about here and tell us what bloodline he's descended from.
Well,
no pressure, Dixon. We need a good story there.
Yeah, none at all. Yeah, but be good. Hi.
Well, he's talking about interpersonal development skills, something that we know nothing about here at the Maastricht edition.
So
we shall be
a lot of listening on this end. Really.
There'll be a lot of listeners. I'll tell you who else is listening at the moment. Paul Simmons is listening. Celine's in the house. Val's in the house. Good evening. Nice to have you with us this evening.
What, the guitarist from Kiss is listening?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh, no, that was Paul Stanley and Keith. Yeah, got it. Okay. I thought it was maybe they were together. Yeah, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. They were.
Just a rumor. No, that was a rumor.
What?
There is no evidence to back that up.
I don't want to know. Never mind.
Yeah. Too much social media going on there. Too much social media. So anyway, what our theme this evening is going to be about weird ornaments. Now we've all got them. Whether they were gifted to us or whether we were on holiday at some point and decided we're going to buy a souvenir, and we thought that seemed like a good idea until we get it home. And then you look at it and think, no, it's just a really tacky-looking dust collector.
You have described my first marriage. Weird.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Save it for the rest of the show. We're offloading too early here.
You got to dust it regularly, darling. That's the thing. Dust
Maybe
it
that
regularly.
was the problem. I don't know.
Our top tip. So, Matt, do you dust your weird ornament regularly?
Not as often as I should, I must admit. No.
So what weird ornament do you have?
I have my little friend here. He's a
Who is that?
nutcracker.
Of course he is.
Please tell me you've named him. Name it.
He also
name
has a little dog.
Oh, he's got a little pooch.
And you've named the
How
dog.
She's
sweet.
very dusty.
Okay, so what's the name of the man and what's the name of his dog?
This is Otto, the Bavarian nutcracker, and the dog is called Poochy.
You just made that up. Come on.
Oh,
No,
that's
it was.
pathetic. You should
That's
have
what
got
they're
the
called.
sausage.
Wait,
He's German. The German dog.
Exactly. There's a sausage dog. Look at him. If you
What?
put him, just show him on the side there. He's a sausage dog. He's one of those stretched out Dachshund.
Dachshund.
That's the one.
So, a sausage dog, delicious sausage dog. Anyway, I throw
Yes.
it to our viewers and listeners out there. Maybe we can come up with a better name than Otto and der Wiener Schnitzel. What was his
Poochy.
name? Poochy. Sorry.
Gucci.
We gotta.
So-
There's got to be
right.
somebody out there.
I just want to confirm. So you stick the nuts in his mouth.
I've never actually tried. I don't buy that sort of nut. I'm not sure it's actually a practical ornament.
You
It's
don't buy
just
that
a
sort
show.
of
Good night,
nut.
everyone.
No, I buy the ready shelled type.
Be sure to tip your waitress.
So-
Good night, everyone. All right.
Okay. Right. I really need to have some clarity here. So it's a particular kind of nut that you've got to put in his mouth.
Yeah, one with a shell.
Of course. Okay, so that could be a peanut.
Yeah, but
Or
I
it
don't
could
buy
be-
that sort of peanut.
Okay, a walnut maybe.
I'm not sure that'd fit in his mouth.
A pistachio.
Yeah, that'd probably work.
They're a little softer. That
Cashew.
might be better.
So that's not a nut, technically.
Wait, let's go back to that.
Okay.
Hang on. I want to discuss because I know where Joe's going with this, but what's not actually a nut?
A cashew.
Oh,
It's a
I think we
fruit,
brought this
I
up on
think.
the show before, haven't we?
Maybe.
I seem to remember. Okay, so let's just put it out to our listeners out there.
What kind of
that
nuts
if
do you
can
like in your mouth?
recommend a nut that would be good to put in Otto's mouth, then please do let us know. And if you think actually Otto should be renamed to something entirely different, we want to hear about that as well.
My God, have
It's
we
not
set
got
the
a very
tone of the
strong
show
jaw,
already?
though.
Yeah, I think. Well, yes, yes, definitely. Okay. Oh,
We've-
Tracey, come back. We need
No,
you.
we've set the bar so low at this point that anywhere we go is just up. I mean, I think that's the way we have to look at this. It's
Okay, so that's a weird ornament. And where do you normally keep him, Matt?
He lives on the piano.
He does live on the piano. Can he play piano?
He's got his hands full, so it's a bit difficult for him.
It's just
He's got what do you call those
That's it.
things?
Well, that's a bagel.
No, it's not a bagel. It's a pretzel.
A-
It's a pretzel
and a pretzel
and a beer.
and a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretzel and a beer. So
Pretzel and-
he's quite busy.
Ein pretzel.
So,
and
yeah.
beer.
Yeah, so his hands are full. So it's only his mouth that's available, and he's working the nuts there. So yeah, nice one, Otto. I hope he
Where's
earns
that
his
rim shot?
keep.
I just need.
Otto?
Never mind. Missing all the sound effects that we could actually have with the show. Anyway, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. Just in case you're wondering what in the hell you're watching. Joe,
Yeah.
Show and tell.
Weird ornaments. You've got them out there. Send us your pictures of your weird ornaments. Those ones that are collecting dust somewhere in your house that may or may not have a use. Maybe it's that holiday souvenir. Maybe it's a nutcracker like Otto and the Pooch.
maybe it's your ex-wife. Whatever. Just send it on. Who cares?
Maybe. Paul's with us. Hi, Paul from South Africa. Denise in the house. Hello, Denise. Nice to have you with us. So yes, let's see the pictures of those weird ornaments that you've got of those dust collectors. But anyway, before we go any further, Matt, how has your week been?
My week. This week, back to work. But last week, holiday. That was great.
Yes, of course.
Nice. Went to Apeldoorn.
There we are. Okay.
And how
which
was that?
It was a bit wet, but there was lots of forest around, and we cycled a lot, and it was lovely. And we stayed right next to the palace at Low,
Ooh.
which is
Ooh.
where the king used to live. Apparently, he doesn't live anymore, and you can't go in because it's being renovated. But the gardens are lovely.
Oh, well,
So
that's all right then.
Go and
Okay.
explore the gardens. They're very nice. 17th
This is up
century
north,
gardens.
isn't it?
This one?
Up north.
Yeah, it's sort of like in the middle.
But it's, well,
further
everywhere's up north from here.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, north of
Go south,
Limburg.
you actually go into another country from here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I recommend it. I spoke before about the Veluwe National Park, and we went there. There's a big museum in the middle called the Krollemüller Museum, and lots of different modern art in the middle of the forest. And you can cycle everywhere for free.
Lovely.
You do have to pay to get into the park. But it's a good trip. I recommend it as a holiday. There's also lots of nice Hanseatic medieval towns in the area as well.
Nice.
So that was nice. Deventer, Zutphen, what was the other one? Kempen. So there's lots to do if you're looking for a holiday destination in the Netherlands. You can get there by train.
So we need to come up. We need to come up with a rating system here because I mean I've noticed that Matt tends to talk about places and things to do and everything. We need to come up with like a rating system of like Matt heads, like 1 out of 5 instead of stars.
Yeah.
So let's say for this Apeldoorn, let's say 1 Matt or 5 Matts, somewhere in between.
Apeldoorn itself, I would probably give it 1 or 2. Not the town, not worth
It's a bit
going.
harsh.
Well,
Is it about the surrounding areas then?
Yeah, it's got a nice countryside, and there's lots of nice towns to visit from there. So it's a good place to be based and go from, because we had a car as well. So, but yeah, Apeldoorn, the worst meal I've ever had in the Netherlands was consumed in Apeldoorn. So I don't recommend that.
Okay.
Let's not go down that road just yet here.
So to summarise then, we recommend you go to the area of Apeldoorn, just don't go to Apeldoorn.
Yes, there you go.
Oh dear.
Total 3 Matts.
Yeah.
That works.
Maybe
Okay.
for the surroundings. There you go.
Yeah, well,
And
good.
Jason, how's your week been?
Pass.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Well, so it's a relief to be here, is what you're saying.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Good.
I've got a lot to
Vicky's
say
with us.
about that.
Vicky, lovely to have you with us. Good
Wait, hold
evening
on.
to you.
Did you say Kiki?
No.
Oh,
Vicky.
sorry. Oh well, hi, Vicky. Not to besmirch Vicky. It's very nice to have you. I thought she mentioned Kiki, which at the Resistance Bakery, since we're talking about her now. But I happen to be very much in love with her, and I thought it would be a nice surprise for her to show up.
She's in love with
But Vicky, I love you
and her
too.
baked goods. Yes, Vicky's very lovable. You would like Vicky very much, I'm sure. I have no doubt whatsoever. So Vicky, Jason, he's up for it. So that's good. It's always nice to know.
Wait, what are we offering now? What did I just get into, and how many laws am I breaking? What's going on?
And I think she bakes as well, so why not?
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Let's talk.
So that's the matchmaking service over and done with. There is something that we could announce this evening, actually, because we have found out that today is Welsh Rarebit National Day.
Oh, yes.
Now, for those of you out there who don't know what Welsh Rarebit is,
Shame
it's
on you.
Well, yes, but it's basically the Welsh version of cheese on toast, but it's cheese on toast with a bit of zzz. It's got a bit of a zzz going on. And Matt's going to tell us how to actually make Welsh Rarebit.
I must point out, I've never actually made it myself. Or
Did
eaten
you
it,
have
actually.
to do that? Did you?
Yes, I have to be honest. I have to be honest with the
Viewers,
Oh.
suspend disbelief. Matthew
Too
is
much transparency sometimes. I tell
culinary
you.
master and makes this
I
in his
have
spare
this-
time. Oh,
I
damn
have
it.
this cookbook
Yes.
from Wales. My grandmother gave it to me.
What's it
It's
called?
very useful. It's called, what does that say? Flavors of Wales.
Flavors of
It's
Wales.
very straightforward.
I thought the
So
Welshman.
everything has leek in it.
It's in English,
I just thought that the Welshman asking how to say something in a Welsh book was just kind of funny. I don't know.
but it's
Yeah.
in English. So,
Especially as it's
what do I have
English,
for
yeah.
you? So Welsh Rarebit, also known in Welsh as Caws Pobby, has a long tradition in Wales.
Has it really?
So cheese, usually either from goats or sheep, not cow's milk, was used to make it. And in 10th century Wales, cheese was considered very important and very valuable. And they were even included in divorce settlements. So any cheese that was still in brine in the family home at the time the couple separated was considered to be the property of the wife, whilst any cheese which was hung up in the home and had therefore finished its production process went to the husband. So there you go.
Blimey.
What to do with your cheese if you get divorced?
Okay.
So normally you make some toast and then you make a cheese sauce. So it's not just grate your cheese on and put it under the grill. You have to make a sauce that's made from cheese, mustard powder, some butter, Worcester sauce, and either brown ale, beer, or milk, depending on how alcoholic you want it, and then a bit of seasoning. And then put that all under the grill on the toast. And then you'll have a lovely cheese on toast.
So I think the key here is that it's got to be quite thick sauce, hasn't it? Because if the cheese sauce is too runny, then when you put it on the bread, it just runs off, and then when you put it under the grill, it will just disappear. So it has to be quite thick and gloopy, I think. But oh my god, that sounds delicious.
Never tried.
Now we've all been in a state of inebriation at some point. I think we do love our adult libations on this show. So I wonder if I've actually had this before, stumbling home after a night out and just having a bit of bread and then like shoving some cheese and then drinking a beer before bed. Do they all have to be together, or is it like, can you have the individual components?
I mean, I'm not sure. Okay. I mean, if it all mixes together
at that time of the morning, you don't care anyway.
Right. So I'm a Welsh culinary master. I didn't even know. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Yeah. It turns into a rarebit once it's in your tummy.
Or further.
Also, the book says there's no rabbit involved in the Welsh rarebit. It's a very big misunderstanding.
No rabbits are harmed in the making of this.
No, exactly.
Cheese on toast.
It's a vegetarian
good
recipe.
To know.
It's a bit misleading.
Yes, but there you go. So, anybody out there who fancies making Welsh rarebit, go ahead, make the rarebit. Send us some pictures of your fancy Welsh cheese on toast. And I think actually it's funny you saying that you haven't made it. I don't think I've made it either. So I think I might have a go at that this weekend. I kind of like the idea of that.
We've all made it. I mean, this is sort of the piecemeal attitude I take to like completing anything, really. So like I'm still working on my marathon, one step at a time. I'll be done with it by the time I die. I think really my philosophy, we've all done it. You had a bit of bread, had a bit of cheese, and you wash it down with a beer. Wonderful. Rarebit. All done.
Considering the amount of cheese I eat, I probably could actually turn into a cow.
Cows don't eat cheese.
No, but cheese comes from cows.
And goats and sheep and, well, breastfeeding women.
I am not turning into a breastfeeding woman. And there I draw the line under that conversation because I know exactly where it's going to go. So I think it's probably time for Maastricht maybe to calm down a little bit, slow down the pace of life, relax, put your feet up, put the kettle on, go into Zen mode, because it is time for This Day in History. Oh, Lord.
That was quite good.
You know what?
Really? I don't think it gets any better. I'm not convinced.
I think if it got better, people would be disappointed.
People would stop tuning in.
Are people tuning in now? There's the question. Let us know you're out there.
Well, we know Vicky's in the house because there's a new thing starting with you and Vicky.
Apparently,
anyway,
I'm being prostituted. Who knew?
It is Thursday, the 3rd of September. Yes, we are in September. And I have to say, if Tracey was here, she'd be telling us how many shopping days there are left until Christmas. I have no doubt.
It's probably like 69
now, I'm going to take
us
back quite a way to the year 301. On this very day, San Marino, one of the smallest nations in the world and the world's oldest republic, which is still in existence, was founded by Saint Marinus. Now, I've never been to San Marino. Anybody else been to San Marino?
No, it's not.
No, no. It's one of those good quiz answers, actually, when people are trying to name small countries or countries that maybe people have never heard of. San Marino. It's a good answer to that kind of thing. Now, in 1752, on this very day, Britain and the British Empire, as it was, which does include the American colonies, I just thought I'd put that in there for you, Jason, adopted the Gregorian calendar. But when they did, they lost 11 days. And people started writing thinking that the government had lost 11 days. So, just to give you an idea, Julius Caesar, he, obviously we know he came, he saw, he conquered, he was a brilliant Roman general, blah, blah, blah. His sons, not so much. He wasn't very good with numbers. And the calendar that was, the Julian calendar, was flawed, but it did last for 1,600 years. Then they found out that he'd calculated it all wrong because his year was 365 days and 6 hours, but it didn't really work out with how long it takes the Earth to go around the sun, blah, 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 blah. It was actually 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Oh, no.
So, yes. So it doesn't seem like much difference. But 1,600 years later, the world was out by a whole week. So Pope Gregory XIII decided to introduce a new calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar, and that's what we've all adopted, although it did take a while for everybody else to catch on. But when they did catch on, which was in 1752, 11 days was lost. So everybody was kicking off about it, but it's still the calendar
Don't they still use that calendar at some places? I think in Russia maybe they still use the Julian calendar. Like the holidays still follow the calendar. Something like that.
Quite possibly. But the last, apparently, what I've got here is that the last country actually that was converted was Turkey. But that was 1927, which isn't that long ago, really. Yeah.
No.
But there you go. So everybody was kicking off because they lost 11 days. I would be a bit miffed if I'd lost 11 days, to be fair. Now, on this day in 1904, for the only time in Olympic Games history, there was a throw-off in the discus final between Martin Sheridan and Ralph Rose. They had a tie where they had thrown 128 feet, 10.5 inches in St. Louis, and they had to have another throw-off where Martin Sheridan ended up winning at 127 feet, 10 inches and a quarter. See, the quarter does matter. Whenever anybody says 10.5 inches, you just measure it again because it might be 10 1/4.
Well, as an American, I just measure everything in metric.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it makes it seem bigger.
Yeah, well, we're not fooled. We're
not. Well, no,
no,
most of the world isn't.
In 1935, on this very day, the first automobile to exceed 300 miles per hour was from Malcolm Campbell's Bluebird, which happened in the salt flats of Utah. It's very flat there. Resident American person, can you confirm how flat it is in Utah?
I just want to hear you pronounce the name of the state again.
Utah.
Yeah, that's wholly correct. Sure, we'll go with that.
Utah.
Yeah, we'll apologies to any of the Utes out there.
It sounds more fun than Utah. Utah.
Sounds very posh. Utah.
Oh, really? Oh, Utah. Utah.
Posh, you say? For somebody who's never been to Utah.
Utah. On this very day, 1953, the European Convention on Human Rights goes into effect. And also on the very same year, French Minister Francois Mitterrand resigns due to colonial policy. Not quite sure what that actually means. In 1967, on this very day, Sweden begins driving on the right-hand side of the road after being
dangerous.
voted down for 40 years. They've been talking about this for 40 years and decided, well, the surrounding countries are doing it, so I suppose we might as well. But 40 years it took them to change.
Peer pressure is an amazing thing.
Yeah, come on. In 1971, on this very day, John Lennon leaves the UK for New York City, never to return. 1978, Pope John Paul I is officially installed as the 263rd Supreme Pontiff. And in 1995, on this day, eBay was founded. Now, how often do you use eBay? That often. Excellent. Okay. I mean, I seem to recall when eBay first came on the scene, we all seem to be using eBay. We were all buying and selling stuff all over the place. But I mean, I don't really go anywhere near it. I haven't been near eBay for many, many years. So it is still going, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
Yeah, it just got sold, didn't it? To a big company. Yeah.
Oh, for a lot of money?
For a lot of money.
They were able to bid them down.
Oh, funny you should say about a lot of money, because in 2013, on this very day, Microsoft purchased Nokia for $7.2 billion.
Wow.
Whoa. 7.2 billion. That's quite a lot, and some spare change. 2015, on this day, Chris the sheep breaks the world record for the biggest shorn fleece at 40 kilograms in Canberra in Australia.
He goes by Christopher now.
Wow, that's huge. That is a lot. You can make a lot of cardigans from that.
Is it, you size queen? You spent a lot of this segment talking about how big things are.
Size matters.
I guess.
That's all I can say. Size matters. Right, birthdays. On this day in 1856, Louis Sullivan, the American architect, also known as father of skyscrapers, which is why we have Skyscraper Day today as well, was born in Boston, Massachusetts. In 1935, another Otto. Otto Ketting, the Dutch temperature and composer, was born in Amsterdam on this very day.
Quite the nutcracker.
In 1955, Steve Jones, the rock guitarist with the Sex Pistols, was born in London. And in 1965, bad boy Charlie Sheen, the American actor, was born in New York City.
Really bad boy.
Now, we've got, so they're quite important birthdays, but we've got some very, very important birthdays, because today one of our team is celebrating a birthday. The lovely Kiran Yadav, who works behind the scenes as our events coordinator, she's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Kiran.
Happy birthday, Kiran.
Hope you're having a lovely day, whatever it is that you're doing. And before we go, a big shout out, because Elaine Lightfoot will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow.
Excellent.
The day after that, Jose Amigo will be celebrating on the 5th, and Heather Eves will be celebrating on the 6th. So, happy birthday to you guys. Have a lovely time, whatever it is you do. Anybody else celebrating a birthday, happy birthday.
No
and
way.
That was this day in history.
No way. Jose?
No way. It's just like having Tracey with us.
Well done.
You are Tracey.
I guess.
Well,
it's...
no, you're a bit too hairy.
Well, you need to put on your best Tracey impersonation, because it's like it's news time.
No,
oh my God.
No.
Why not?
Matt, you don't know what you're saying.
No, he does.
No.
And he's tempted me. And I think I'm going to go...
No, really. No.
Anyway.
No. Right. We're going to let you do this, Jason, but if you do it with an Irish accent, that's it. It's game over. Game over.
I can barely do it with an American accent. I mean, really.
Jean's just joined us in the house. She will leave if you try your Irish accent.
Or she
Not
may
that Jean's
stay.
Irish,
I'm
she won't appreciate it.
Vicky, since I've been betrothed to you, maybe that you could chime in on this one, since apparently I'm... Joe, what have you done?
That's like an Irish accent. Yeah, you stop doing that. Vicky's going to be all... Yeah, she is. Oh, she is. Definitely she is. Anyway, yes, it is time for Jason / Tracey Taylor to give us the news here on the Maastricht edition Jason news.
I love how fearful she is of this, and knowing I've done this full well in the past. But regardless. Anyway, good evening, everyone. It's September 3rd, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, we're going to take a look at your weekend weather. I would say keep your umbrella handy over the weekend, because Friday is set to have intervals of clouds and sunshine with about a 40% chance of thunderstorms toward the evening. Highs near 23 and lows around 12. Saturday, we'll see a 25% chance of rain in daylight hours with clouds clearing in the evening. Highs on Saturday will reach about 19, lows around 10. And on Sunday, it should appear about the same as Saturday with periods of clouds and sun. Highs on Sunday will reach 19 and lows around 10. Stay safe out there, everybody. Now, moving on to your news bulletin for tonight. The Netherlands will continue to keep nightclubs closed because of coronavirus outbreak, with no expected date when the businesses will be allowed to reopen. At the same time, the country is loosening some rules for quarantining babies and toddlers, but the ban on shouting, singing, and chanting in groups, like at protests, sports events, and live concerts, will also continue with no specified end date. In an update to the Dutch public 6 months after the first coronavirus patient was discovered in the Netherlands, Prime Minister Mark Rutte said he understood the frustration people feel when it comes to the lingering restrictions on society meant to keep the COVID-2 novel coronavirus from spreading further. The Health Minister, Hugo de Jonge, has said the research into the vaccine is progressing, but that the Netherlands could receive the first batch of vaccines in early 2021. But for now, Rutte stressed that the measures in place over 6 months have worked and will continue to work if people continue to adhere to the developing rules. Some 126 people were being treated in hospitals for COVID-19 by Tuesday. Despite the relatively low number, de Jonge said it was important that everyone follow the rules instead of setting up a different set of rules based on someone's age or social group. Moving on, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, once again, and Minister of Social Affairs and Employment, Wouter Koolmees, will be meeting with representatives of the organizations behind anti-racism protests in the Netherlands this past Wednesday. They will discuss the common question of how racism can be tackled in various areas of society and how the discussion about racism can be conducted in a good way. The meeting will be with representatives of Black Lives Matter Nederland, a coalition of activists and organizations against racism in the Netherlands, and Kick Out Zwarte Piet, a group of activists that have been campaigning for the Netherlands to stop using blackface in its Sinterklaas celebrations for years. This coalition includes locally based activism exercised by Black Lives Matter Maastricht. Kick Out Zwarte Piet accused Rutte of holding the meeting so that there could be a photo opportunity for the press rather than actually trying to fight racism in the Netherlands. The activist group, which was prominently involved in organizing the Black Lives Matter protest in the country in June, also took issue with the government's choice in wording, similar wording to what was used in the announcement of Wednesday's meeting. The meeting was set to take place this past Wednesday at Dutch Prime Minister residence in The Hague. In local news, the Maastricht University Student Award for 2020 has been awarded to Maastricht for Climate, a local activist organization focusing their efforts on sustainability and climate change. The Maastricht University Award recognizes exceptional social or cultural-oriented achievements of university students here in Maastricht. The award, accepted by Arthur Brebosa, one of the group initiators, celebrated the group's fight for climate justice through the creation of a civil movement and the organization of climate marches. Other nominees for the Maastricht University Student Award this year included volunteers tending to corona coordination for local medicine students, the founders of the Special Supermarket Food Co-op, participants of the socially focused Match Project, an initiative by a group of European law students aiming to close the gap between university students and human rights non-governmental organizations. And lastly, We here at the Maastricht Edition would like to send a hearty congratulations to our friends of the show, the Poochy Cats and Coffee Cafe, otherwise known as the Cat Cafe. And in particular, we want to congratulate owners Raymond and Florence on their recent engagement to be married. We here at the Maastricht Edition wish you all the best and are certain that your future will be filled with infinite happiness, laughter, love, and cats. All the best to both of you. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV Maastricht News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you're a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between Hashtag Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. If you want to discover events, concerts, and cultural activities going on around Maastricht and the surrounding areas, head over to the website of our partner, maastrichter.com, to check out their awesome calendar of events. You can also follow them on social media. And don't forget, you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on Reddit, and on Instagram. For all the details, check out themaastrichtedition.nl.
Nicely done, Jason.
I can read.
Well done. That was very good.
Thank you very much.
Very, very good.
Oh, back to work.
And I'd just like to repeat a huge congrats to Flo and Ray down at the Cat Cafe.
Indeed.
Oh, that sounded good, didn't it? Flo and Ray at the Cat Cafe. Yes. They've just got
My
engaged.
God, you're a poet and you didn't know it.
No, I didn't know it at all. So, yes, that's wonderful news, celebrating their engagement. So we congratulate you guys. Now, we've got Dixon Block coming up soon, but before we get Dixon onto the show, he's already with us.
He's already on the show.
Excellent. Hello, Dixon. Good evening.
Hello. Nice to see you. I've got that background again. It keeps coming up automatically, apparently.
You've got the rainforest in the background.
It's okay. You're in the rainforest. You've taken the time to chat with us in your adventures through the jungle. I think it's.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it must be a Canadian forest because you were asking about my bloodline. So it probably goes back to that.
Ah.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought maybe you were one of these Canadian celebrities that was doing a survival TV reality program or something like that.
No. To be honest, if I knew that this background was going to pop up automatically, I would have put on my plaid shirt and really acted the lumberjack.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cue Monty Python.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay. But anyway, Dixon, it's lovely to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are going to be talking to us about your business, which involves, let me get this right, interpersonal development skills, if I think I've got that in the right order. But before we get to that, let's talk about you, because as you say, you are actually Canadian, but you are here in Maastricht. How did you get here? Why are you here? How long are you here? Let's have everything.
Sure. Oh, my. Well, I actually, as a teenager, was a little bit disappointed that even in Canada, which is known to be quite diverse and full of different cultures, I found it difficult interacting with these different cultures, and because, they have kind of their set up groups. And one thing that I was also disappointed in was I was monolingual. I could only speak one language. I wasn't really getting the breadth of experience that I wanted. And so I decided as a teenager that I knew I wanted to move to Europe. I wanted to have my family in Europe so that my kids would be able to have this diverse culture and a diversity also in language as well. I ended up in Aachen, just across the border in Germany, for about 6 years, and I married a Dutch woman and made the move across the border, which wasn't too difficult, being open borders and everything. A little bit different than crossing the bridge at Niagara Falls in Canada and the States.
True.
And I ended up here. So as for how long, I don't know, but I'm hoping to get a citizenship in the future, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm here to stay. But that's up to the government.
Now, I like Canada. I haven't seen as much of it as I was like, but that, of course, Canada's huge. It is absolutely massive. But apart from the weather, what would you say are the main differences between Maastricht and Canada?
I would say the size of things in terms of population, because in Canada, at least growing up near Toronto, where I'm from, in the GTA, we call it the Greater Toronto Area, there's about, I don't want to misquote the figures here, but there's about 13 million people or so living kind of all together. And from city to city, the only difference between is a sign that says welcome to the next city, and you go, okay, well, now I know. And of course, if it's not my hometown, it's a little bit dirtier. But I gotta be honest. You head into Toronto, you notice.
Yeah.
No, but here, what I quite like is all the nature that's built into the cities, and the fact that you have just a couple of weeks ago, I was cycling on the Maastricht along the Maas River, and it's just so beautiful. And you go through all the little towns, and there's trees, and there's nature, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, Canada's known for its nature, but if you live in the suburbs and the city, all you know is the suburbs and the city. At least for me. There's some people who love that. I'm not so much of a city person, so Maastricht for me is perfect size. You can get everywhere on a bicycle. You have everything that you need, that you could want around, but everything's kind of, also kind of in tune with nature, I feel. Okay. So yeah. I would say that's the main difference.
Yeah, so we can sit here and talk about nature in Canada and everything, but you're actually here this evening to talk about interaction education, your business. Yes. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what interaction is and what you do for the community.
Yeah, sure. So I am, that is my brand as a freelancer for soft skills trainings, communication skills, presentation skills, negotiation skills, team development, leadership skills is also, of course, a big theme. And so it's kind of a mix of training as well as some kind of one-on-one coaching, sometimes with managers or with individual situations, conflict resolution situations. The complete breadth of it I haven't quite figured out yet, because I did start the business directly before Corona. And of course, when everybody starts working from home, you lose these kind of group sessions to build as a team. It gets in the way a little bit. So I'm hoping that as things are slowly opening up again, to see really kind of where the limits of this are. But at the moment, that's what it's been so far.
That's interesting that you actually mentioned the corona and sort of the lockdown, because everybody sort of retreated into their homes. And of course, our show, we're doing this, in lieu of actually being in a radio studio. Would you find a different sort of conflict resolution or a different approach that you would maybe explore with interpersonal relationships in a remote setting in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because one of the big themes in, for example, a communication skills training is the media that you use. And of course, when you are one-on-one, you have body language, tone, you have visual, you have, of course, the words also that you're using. Pants. As soon as you switch to pants as well, hopefully, I mean, in a remote setting, you may or may not, but I'll ask you not to stand up.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, I'm out here in the wilderness, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's actually a moose behind you at the moment that's grazing. It's very pretty.
Oh, that's quite nice. I'm very used to that. You heard how I grew up near Toronto. There's only 13
you don't want to be a bear. No.
There were lots of moose. Yeah. No, but absolutely, it makes a big difference because, as I said, you have all these other factors when you are in a face-to-face scenario, and of course, with business nowadays being very much in email and very much on telephone calls, and with all the international business, you have so many cultural layers that build into that as well. And in larger firms where you are communicating maybe from here to Canada, for example, you of course have this kind of remote setting anyway. So it has become a bigger theme over the years anyway. But of course now suddenly to switch from very much face-to-face to very much online or on telephone or over email, it becomes very difficult. One thing that I would say is a big benefit nowadays is the use of emoticons, and that you might not expect to find in a business setting so much, but an email where you make a little bit of a joke and send a winky face versus an email where you make a bit of a joke and you don't know if that person is going to understand it's a little bit of a joke or misunderstand it perhaps.
But that's quite dangerous, isn't it? Like there's lots of movement there for misinterpretation of emoticons. I find that quite often people are like, why did you use that emoticon? I'm like, well, to me it means this, but to someone else maybe it means something else.
Yeah. Of course, you have that as well, to a certain extent. To be honest, you're going to get that also with facial expressions, and when you start looking at the diversity of culture, that layers into things as well, and how one culture may be more direct than another. I mean, I get that even in personal relationships. I come from North America. I came to what I understood to be one of the most direct countries in the world, and found myself coming into one of the nicest and most polite families ever, and I find myself going, oh, I think I've offended my brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean it that way. I was just being direct and honest, and so you get those layers as well, even in a non-remote setting.
I think it's interesting what you're saying there, because I actually was having a conversation today about tone, because in somewhere like Maastricht, which is a melting pot of all different kind of nationalities, and using my husband's company as an example, there's 30 different nationalities in one building. So when it comes to communicating, and they're using English as the main language there, people are translating from their own language into English, and they're doing a direct translation, which could come across as offensive to somebody else. Then it's the delivery on top of that.
True.
And you could, and all of a sudden, just within one conversation, you could have offended 4 or 5 people in one group who all come from a different country.
And the most interesting part of that is that you've probably offended those 4 or 5 people in different ways too.
Yes, exactly.
Because as you pointed out, when you have that message that you're building, and you have kind of different in this communication model, you have these different steps in it. And first, you are translating yourself, your thoughts, into words. And when you start then speaking a second or third or fourth language, of course, that gets even more complicated. Then you send that message out into the world. There's all sorts of media getting in the way, if it's too noisy in the office, or if it is online, or if it is over email. That's all sorts of different traffic or static, right? Then that message gets to the person, and it's filtered through how they see the world. It's filtered through this other person's perspective that you can only take a guess at. Hopefully an educated guess, but ultimately speaking, I don't know how the 3 of you will interpret these messages. I don't know how these listeners might interpret these messages. I have even less information about them. I don't have the facial expressions. So,
but do you think, like, as an international person, that you have a different sort of perspective? So, like, as an international person living in a different country, you always have to sort of adapt and realize you're going to have to really try a lot harder to understand what's going on, and not be offended easily. You have to sort of go, no, that's not what they meant. Yeah, exactly. Like, compared to somebody who's not lived abroad, who's always lived in the same place, you have a very different way of communicating and understanding the world.
Yeah, definitely yes, especially when it comes to humor. Having moved to Germany, I found translating my kind of sarcasm into broken German at the beginning, and then trying to get over the German threshold for humor. A lot of things were taken literally, where you go,
sarcasm.
No, that's really
we do not have time for
sarcasm's really, really tricky. And being a Brit, I mean, we're very, very good at sarcasm, but my
it's great fun though. If somebody does, great, you can just insult them; they don't even know. Great.
Yeah. Well, on that note, actually, because you brought up the British side of it, it's not only then the language difference, because if you look, for example, at Aaron Meyer's, I think it's called what's called The Culture Map is the name of the book. It's a brilliant book. It looks at 8 different scales in terms of business culture, different countries of the world. And if you look at kind of being direct in communication, or more indirect and a little bit more, I wouldn't say passive, but a little bit more kind of read between the lines. The UK is very much more toward read between the lines than the Americas, the English-speaking Americas, I should say, and so Canada and the States. And coming then over to Germany and then the Netherlands, which are also very much on this side of the scale, I found less of a shock than if I can only imagine here. I haven't been to Japan, but if I went to Japan, which is very much in general terms, on the other side of the scale, to my communication style, I would most likely have a lot of issues if I were to come in without any kind of adjustment or any kind of knowledge that I might have to adjust into such a different culture. It might be that I happen to get into a firm that is maybe owned by an American company, and they've already kind of changed a little bit to my kind of communication, but you never know. And you never know, the individual you might meet might not be on this kind of general culture side scale.
Yeah, sure. So if there's any businesses that are actually watching at the moment, what exactly is it that you could offer them?
Yeah, so what's nice about being freelance is that I can tailor the things that I have as kind of a basis to very much what a company needs. I work mostly interaction education. We focus mostly on kind of small and medium-sized enterprises, so roughly 30 employees. That's where you kind of get into the nitty-gritty, where you can't simply say, okay, this person is not functioning in this team, we'll pick them up and move them to this other department. So that's kind of the benefit there. Of course, with that, a lot of my work recently has been transitioning into online things that tend to be more in also English. So I'm partnering with a collaboration of also English teachers in Aachen, where then I focus on kind of the communication skills of, as you mentioned, these translating into a second language or a third language in the company. What does that mean? There's more non-native English speakers in the world than native English speakers.
Indeed.
And if you look at the native English speakers and the level of their English, sometimes you also wonder, who's speaking it better?
I mean, really.
No, I'm not going to say a word.
You don't have to say anything. All of our viewers are actually able to tell that already. I mean, again, I have the thinnest grasp of the English language.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a trainer.
Exactly. Well, and how would, so if folks are watching here and they would actually like to maybe seek out your services for themselves or their team, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can either go to my website, www.interaction-education.com, or my email, dixonblock@interaction-education.com.
Excellent stuff. Well, Dixon, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good luck with the business. I'm sure it's going to be a huge success. We'll make sure that all your contact details are all over our social media. Absolutely. And please do come back and see us again sometime.
Absolutely. I'll look forward to it.
And watch out for those bears behind you.
Oh, shoot.
All the best, Dixon.
Anyway, thanks for your time. Yep,
Take
cheers.
care. Bye-bye. I rather liked his background.
Let me tell you. His literal background. I thought you were talking about his historical or lineage.
Look,
Canadian royalty, that guy.
Yeah.
Lord Dixon Block, ruler of the High Helm.
There's definitely some Scottish lineage there as well, I reckon.
I dig it. But and really, I mean, when you think about
I think you look good in a kilt. Dixon, you look good in a kilt, I think. I think you could pull it off.
I'm trying to talk about the man's business, and you're already objectifying him, Joe. How dare you?
Look, the man, I can already tell from the chest up, actually, he's probably got very good legs. So that's all I'm saying. I think he would look good in a kilt. But listen, people out there, we have been talking also this evening about weird ornaments, because all of us have got them. Matt was showing us his weird ornament earlier. He was talking about Otto, his nutcracker. And I know and Poochy the dog. Yes, we mustn't forget about Poochy the dog. So all of us have got these dust collectors out there for whatever reason, whether it's a gift or a souvenir or such like. I wanted to show you mine.
I was going to ask, Joe, can you show me yours? Show me your dusty ornaments.
It's occurred to me, right, as many of you will know, we've got a renovation thing going on here. I'm unpacking boxes that have been packed for years and finding all kinds of junk and stuff. And as I've been rummaging through my junk, I have discovered that I have a lot of extra large ornaments, shall we say, or extra large things that have been made big. So, for example, I happen to find I've got a very big stapler.
I'm not really sure that's an ornament.
What the hell? I've got such a big stapler. It's huge. I mean, it's just massive. So I've got this really, really big stapler. Something that actually kind of goes with the
Are you performing
office thing.
surgeries in your spare time?
Calculus.
You don't need your glasses. It's great.
No, I know. I mean, these are old people kind of numbers, things going on here.
There's got to be a fetishist site somewhere where like their whole thing is about feeling small. And
yes,
so
I could start a website with these, couldn't I?
this
But
is
it
like the
gets
perfect
better.
thing. Oh God, does it get better?
You ready for this? This is the best one. I've got a giant shuttlecock.
You've got the racket.
I feel like you're setting us up for jokes, and I'm not gonna bite.
I don't know. I've got such a big shuttlecock.
It's a hat.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, it's a.
Not a shuttlecock, it's a hat. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Why?
sorry.
I've lost my cock. So anyway,
Well, she's gone.
I
You've
don't
lost
know
it?
if I should
Oh,
actually
okay.
send it off to the a second-hand shop or whether I should just keep it for fun. Maybe, I could just at dinner parties
Keep it for
bring out my
fun.
giant. Yeah.
I refer
mean,
you
yeah,
back to
right.
what I was saying earlier about the fetishist site. I think that everybody who's watching actually knows where I'm going with this one here. So be on the lookout for Joe's Tiny Things.com.nl. I don't know.
The long winter evenings are going to fly, I tell you. Oh, God. But I don't care about corona and isolation. I've got my big stapler.
I got me shuttlecock. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, hey, Matt. How you doing?
Big
I'm
things
good.
that you need. I can do them on my big calculator. So there you
I'm
go.
not sure they qualify as ornaments, though, Joe.
Well, I was looking. I'm not really a person, if I'm honest with you, because if you have ornaments, you've got to clean them, and I just can't be asked with it. But I saw these, and I just thought, do you know what? They're big, and I don't know why. So I'm going with that.
They're big, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should go on a T-shirt. They're big, and I don't know why.
The title of the worst adult film ever. Anyway, Matt, I'm sure there's some information you'd like to share that isn't related to big things in unknown quantities.
Yes, it's time for Tracey's titty bitties that you've taken over.
Yes,
Yeah. Can
Speak
do
of the
that.
devil, and never mind.
What have you got for us, Matt?
So this week, you can pop into the Expat Centre, which is still on the Muzzy Forum, and you can grab a copy of the Access magazine, which is the expat magazine for the Netherlands, English language, and you can see an article by Tracey in there as well about Limburg.
Ah,
Yeah, so you can check out Tracey's literary skills. And if you want to join an event, you can, tomorrow evening, join Vegan Chalking Night.
what is
Now, can
vegan chalk?
If you can guess, can anyone guess what vegan chalking is?
Well, I thought chalk was vegan.
Okay.
Isn't chalk vegan? So are you drawing pictures of vegetables?
Well, you wouldn't be
Well-
eating the chalk, Joe.
Oh, but
Well-
vegans are quite strict. I mean, they don't wear animal stuff. They don't
It's
have
true.
animal stuff around them. So,
Well, I was
so
discussing this with Jacob earlier, and chalk, like natural chalk, is made of like dead animals.
Wait,
'Cause
what?
It's like
No.
it's like dead sea dinosaurs and things like that you
then-
find buried in the same piece.
Gasoline,
So,
and
like,
oil, and petroleum, and okay, never mind.
like
yes,
Anyway.
of course.
So Vegan Chalking Night is where a local vegan organization is going to go. It's an international event, so all around the world this is going to be happening. They're going to go around the city and color the streets with messages about veganism, animal liberation, and anti-speciesism.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
There you go.
Chalking as in art.
Anti-speciesism. That's
Yes,
not an
that's
easy word.
quite a difficult
to say.
word.
Anti-speciesism. Yeah,
So-
I got it.
So if you want to join that, you can. Otherwise, on Saturday morning, you will understand why the streets look a bit different than usual. And that's what's going on. There's also the Browse Festival this weekend, which usually would be an in-person music festival, an arts festival, but sadly due to Corona, it's moving online, so everything's going to be live streamed, and it's going to be based at the Music Heaterij. So it starts tomorrow, and it's also on Saturday and Sunday, and there's lots of different acts and events going on throughout the day, and you can catch it all on Facebook, and we will share the event after the show.
Marvellous.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, there's lots going on then. And they're all socially distanced. So that's all very good. Marvellous stuff. Excellent. Well, you see, it was like having Tracey in the room, but not. Tracey will be back with us next week. She will. You guys are just too hairy to be Tracey.
You don't know the hair content of Miss Tracey. Don't lie.
Do you know what? I do. I totally do. If anything, I know she hasn't got a beard. Unlike some of us around here of a certain age. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, menopausal chins. What can I tell you?
Can I tell you about it?
Before we disappear this evening, though, I think somebody should ask me, because I've got a really good one this week.
My God. Matt, would you like to do the honors?
Joe, what do you know this week that you didn't know last week?
Well, it's funny you should ask me that, Matt.
Isn't it? Wow.
Apparently, when cicadas are infected by the hallucinogenic Massapora cicadina fungus, they turn into rampant sex addicts who mate until their genitals fall off.
Oh.
So a lot like other species on hallucinogenic drugs.
Well, I don't know about the rampant sex addict thing.
I've been to a rave. I know what's up.
Yeah, I've been to a rave, and I didn't see loads of sex addicts all over the place having their genitals falling off. I mean...
You weren't at the right rave,
no,
I'll tell you that.
There was cuddling. There was definitely cuddling, and people love sort of, I love you, but
fuzzy
there
pants
you
and glow
go.
sticks and
So,
genitals just falling off. Yeah.
And you two talk amongst yourself. I'm going to educate the people out there. So for those of you out there who don't know what a cicada is, these are sort of like they're sort of like a cross between a moth and a locust, and they live underground. For, this is very precise, 13 or 17 years. They live underground. And then they come up, and if they've been unfortunate enough, or fortunate, whichever way you want to look at it, to been infected by this fungus, then they get down and dirty until their genitals fall off.
To be fair.
To be continued.
No, to be fair... If one were buried underground for 13 and or 17 years, there's some activities you're going to want to get at.
When I first read this, I was thinking, I thought that too when I read this. I was like, come on, if you've been there 13 years, you're going for it. I mean, you don't need a fungus to...
skip the LSD. Let's just go.
But the trouble is with this, the fungus sort of, everything falls off. And that's...
Is that why they're so hungry? You know, they eat everything. When they come out of the ground, they go and eat everything.
Because their willies have fallen off.
No, because like all that energy they've burned.
Yeah, who's not famished after a good raw drink? Come on, it's...
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sex crisps. Sex crisps. Who doesn't like a bag of... No.
That is the worst name for a Sex Pistols cover band I've ever heard. And on that note, Joe, let's close out the show.
Are we done? We are done.
Oh, we were past done. We were done before we started.
We are very, very done. So thank you to everybody who tuned in this evening. It's been lovely to have you. Yeah. Thank you to Dixon Block, the guy with one of the best names ever, for joining us this evening. We should be putting all these details online after the show.
Indeed.
Thank you to RTV for making it possible. Tracey, we've missed you. Looking forward to seeing you back next week. We should have all of us together next week. Happy birthday to everybody who's got their birthdays coming up over the next few days. And again, happy birthday to Kieran, our events coordinator. Another big congratulations to Flo and Ray from the Cat Cafe. Indeed. And we shall see you all again next week. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.